Next time you're out wandering the Calumet Wilderness, you might come across some very interesting remnants of the Cold War. Hello and welcome to the Calumet Wilderness with Sam Love. I am your host, Sam Love, and I'm talking about Project Nike. Project Nike was an air missile defense system. In fact, the first guided surface-to-air missile system, developed by the United States Army after World War II as defense against a possible air attack from our former allies, the Soviet Union. Beginning in 1953, bases were built around large urban and industrial areas across the country, and around U.S. military bases in Western and Central Europe and Pacific Asia. By 1962, 240 launch sites had been built. The Chicago-Gary Defense Area featured 20 such installations, and 6 are located in the Calumet Region. I'm going to take a look at all 6, but I'm just going to quickly run through the 3 that are either no longer existent or private property. And I'll go into a little more detail on the 3 that are accessible via nature trails in the Calumet Wilderness. There's a lot of great resources online about the history of the Nike missile program, so I'm not going to go into any technical detail here, but I do want to mention a couple of things. First is that all of these sites had a control area and a launch area, so you'll see a little bit of both of that in my images, and a lot of times these sites were taken over by civil defense or fire or police departments, so sometimes I don't know what buildings are historic and which were built later. Also, I just want to quickly mention 2 missile systems that I'm going to be talking about. The first were the Ajax Missiles. These were introduced in the early 50s, and then were later replaced in the late 50s by the Hercules system. What was the difference? The Hercules were bigger, faster, stronger, more boomy, all that. All the rest you can go look up for yourself. All right, starting east and then moving west. The first one is C47 Hobart Wheeler, which was operational between 1956 and March 1974. Today it's the Blast Camp, a paintball and airsoft camp. This base had storage for 12 Hercules missiles and 20 Ajax missiles, with launchers that were 12 Universal launchers and 8 Hercules. Site C45 at the Gary Municipal Airport operated between 1957 and June 1960. There was storage for 20 Ajax missiles and 8 launchers at this site. Pretty much every trace of it has been erased by recent airport upgrades. And finally, for this first set, there is C46 Munster, operational between 1957 and September 1974. There was storage on site for 12 Hercules missiles and 20 Ajax missiles. There were 12 Universal launchers and 8 Hercules launchers. This site was demolished in 2008, but fortunately, in December 2004, I stopped by to make some pictures. This was located on Columbia Avenue, about a mile south of 45th. As you can see, it was getting surrounded by luxury homes as well as some fields by this point. Okay, now let's take a look at the ones that are more accessible via nature. First up is C32 Porter Chesterton, which was operational between 1957 and April 1974. There was storage for 12 Hercules missiles and 20 Ajax missiles, and there were 12 Universal launchers. Today, the control area is the headquarters for the Indiana Dunes National Park. The launch area is about a mile to the east, is fenced up, and is surrounded by high-end housing. You can access the C32 site either by parking at the Bailey Shellberg property or up by Coles Bog and taking the Brickyard Trail down, which actually brings you along the backside of this set of buildings. And you can get a really good front view along Mineral Springs Road on your way back up. Let's jump over to the far south side of Chicago now. C44 Hegewisch Wolf Lake. This site was operational between 1955 and March 1963. It stored 60 Ajax missiles and had 24 double Ajax launchers. Now, similar to the Porter Chesterton site, the area is largely open and accessible. Unlike C32, though, there's pretty much nothing left here. The launch area was located in what today is called Wolf Lake Overlook on the northern end of Wolf Lake's Illinois side. Starting from the William Powers State Recreational Area at 126 and Avenue O, follow the paved road around the northwest corner of the lake, then follow the foot trail into the Wolf Lake Overlook area. A few elevator doors remain, but most are gone. What remains is filled with dirt. Some have trees growing through them. The dirt bikes have been through. As I mentioned before in the Parish Woods video, these tracks and divots could become miniature wetlands with proper conservation. The area was turned over to conservation after the base was decommissioned. The control area was located near 133rd and Avenue J. I don't think anything has survived to the present, and with a major green restoration project underway to connect Wolf Lake and Powderhorn Lake, any traces will surely disappear. Another point of interest on the south end of the park, a monument of a Nike Ajax missile, the only public monument to Project Nike in the region. And we'll close with my personal favorite C48 South Gary, operational between 1957 and June 1960. The site had storage for 20 Ajax missiles and had 8 Ajax Universal launchers. C48 is located on West 35th Avenue in Gary. The control center was located near Grant Street, and there's virtually nothing left today, and the launching pad was closer to Chase. Now, technically, the site is not accessible to the public, as it is an active training ground and gun range for Gary Police, Fire, and Emergency Services. But the little Calumet Levee Trail runs on the north end of the site. When the trees are bare, you can catch a slight glimpse of one of the 2 magazines, which are now filled with water. I got special access last year when a group I was working with held a hands-only CPR training at the site. It was also my birthday, so thank you to the Gary EMS for a great gift. After the gun range closed for the day, I got permission to explore the site, so I'll leave you with these images and the thought that the grounds were covered with ticks. It was an awesome birthday. Well, thank you for watching. If you're interested in the cultural and ecological histories of the Calumet region, please consider subscribing. And thank you to everyone who's clicked that subscribe button, the like button, shared a video, or left a comment. I'll see you again in the next adventure in the Calumet Wilderness. May we live in less interesting times.